Vision, journey, culture, and results does a really good job of explaining why work sucks. But in this episode, we're going to talk about how to use that framework to make work not suck.
Make work not suck. Our podcast that talks about exactly that. Our process, vision, journey, culture, and results. We present real-world business solutions that make the difference. Our goal is to make work not suck. Hosted by Ryan Hodges, co-host Daniel Steere. Join us each episode and make work not suck. Welcome to the Make Work Not Suck podcast.
Welcome back to the Make Work Not Suck podcast. So Ryan, let's just kind of orient ourselves to where we've been. We've talked through in detail the vision, journey, culture, and results.
Yes.
And in each of those conversations, we've at least hinted at, if not specifically talked through the details of how it can suck to work at a company that is too focused on any one of the four, right? But this is not the Why Work Sucks podcast. It's the Make Work Not Suck podcast. So how does this new paradigm, this new framework, vision, journey, culture, results, how does that actually help make work not suck, as opposed to just describing why it does? Like, how do you use this to make work better?
It's simple. Just use it in magic.
And magic?
It's just it's an experience. It's a
How would
journey.
you even use it? Like, what would that look like? Is there a T-shirt that I buy and wear? Like, what do you do?
You just send $100 to this
Nice.
address that's going to flash on the screen. Don't ask questions and magic.
Perfect.
No, So it's a framework, and it helps you whether when you're running it inside of an organization, it helps you see the blind spots and the gaps inside the organization. And this is constantly evolving, right? So you're constantly pulsing, you're constantly looking. And you can also apply this personally as well. So it applies to, really, you kind of think through this in every decision you make. And the more cognitive you are in the decisions you make through the four pillars, the more successful your likely outcome. Doesn't mean every solution is going to be guaranteed success, but you're more likely to have success. In an organization, when an organization looks at the vision, journey, culture, results from what I would say top to bottom, which is from executive leadership down to the frontline employee.
Frontline, yep.
Yep, and from marketing to finance.
Okay.
So when you look at it in from top to bottom, left to right, and you look at where things are going synergistically, are they moving through the organization? Where are the gaps? Or how's communication going down the vertical, or even horizontal, or diagonally through the organization?
Okay.
And so when you use this to assess the organization, you can find the gaps. And when you use it to solve the problems, it ensures that the problems are getting solved. Because the reality of it is the organization is made up of many people, right?
Right.
Every one of those individuals sits in one of those quadrants as their primary.
So let me rephrase that. So every person in every company sits in one of those four boxes.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Now there's multiple ways to slice and dice this. Right now we've been talking a lot of this in 2-dimension. It's actually 3-dimensional in a sphere, but we'll
Good,
get to
because
that
this wasn't
another day.
complicated enough.
No,
So take it to the next level.
We're just going to keep it in a 2-dimensional plane. So one thing is an organization, especially like let's just call it a results-heavy organization, right?
Okay.
We talked earlier about the results and
Yep.
a lot of track teams, right? We call them the A players. They're like the Dallas Cowboys, et cetera, et cetera.
We just want to win, but we're not sure how.
Well, I think I saw a meme today that says it's been like 10,082 days since they won a Super Bowl. So how's those results working for you?
Ouch.
And I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan.
And they're your home team.
Yeah, exactly. So when you got a results-heavy organization, we tend to hire more results-focused people because they like us.
They feel like us.
They feel like us.
Yeah.
But
He's
don't
got to
hit
be
the
awesome.
results.
He's like me.
Well, then 6 months later, we fire them because they don't fit, right? And maybe you're the manager that's
Right.
had to fire that person, or maybe you were the person that got fired. Or you got frustrated.
So hold on. Why do they not fit if they feel like, if it's a results person in a results organization, why would they not fit?
because the organization's out of balance.
Oh, okay.
And so when we look at an organization and we go, okay, where's our vision? Where are we at in vision? Where are we at in journey, culture, results? And we go, you know what? We're missing a lot on the journey piece. We don't have SOP. We don't have our journey strategy, and it doesn't connect to SOP that connects to people. Well, when the organization goes, oh shit, we've missed that.
Yeah.
then they come back and they start trying to fix it. Well, what they'll find is we need to hire those people. You
Sure.
remember in one of the other episodes you talked about that result-heavy organization where
That
they
it
ran out.
fired all the process people.
They fired all the process people. When they realized that they fired all the process people and why they did it, they start hiring process people back, and you start building balance. Now, let me give you a scenario. This is something we did years and years ago. Is if you put a bunch of you take a group of people, let's say 16 people,
Okay.
and you hand select these, and you go one vision, one journey, one culture, and one results person in a group, and you give them a let's just say straws, and you say build a tall tower. You'll find if you do 4 groups like that, so 16 people, 1 in each quadrant, 4.
Right.
What you'll find is they'll all build relatively tall towers that and they'll work together as a team.
Yep.
That's because the visionary will take charge. The journey person will map out and coordinate what needs to be done. The culture person is making sure everybody's
Playing nice
aligned,
together.
playing nice, holding people accountable, making sure everybody's got their parts.
And
They
the
might
results
be-
guy's watching the clock and making sure that you get it all done on time.
Well, sometimes those are the engineers. They're actually ones doing some of the structure stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
They're
that's
very
true. That
good with
could be.
structure. And so what you'll end up with is a well-balanced team that builds a tall tower, and there'll be one that's taller than the others, but they'll all be fairly tall. Now, if you take that same group of people and you put all the visionaries together, all the journey people together, culture and the results people together,
Disaster.
well, what you'll end up with is all the visionaries talking about what the vision of the tower should be, and they haven't touched a thing. You'll have all the journey people talking about how they should think about building the tower or how they should arrange all the components and pieces, but not
Right.
actually build it. All the culture people will be they'll be
And the group hugging.
well, I don't know if I'd say group hugging, but
Not a culture person, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not the culture person.
But they will all be making sure each other's taken care of and,
Yeah,
and
okay.
trying to serve each other.
Yep.
But never actually getting traction on anything. And all the results people will pretty much be over engineering it.
Okay.
To the point where there's nothing gets built. And if anything gets built at all, it's a third or a quarter
Of what it
of
could have
what
been.
it was.
Yeah.
And so we've done those experiments before, and it's kind of funny to watch.
Sure.
And actually,
But so many organizations are like that.
yes.
Right? They have a bent. They keep hiring more and more people like that, and they wonder why it's not working, and it just creates a lot of frustration.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. So one of the things we've been kind of hinting at, I think it's important to maybe just put this out on the table, is that not only is it true that every person in every organization kind of lands in one of those 4 quadrants, but what that means is that each person has a natural strength, right? They've got a natural orientation towards one of those 4: vision, journey, culture, or results. Most people have what I would call a secondary, or maybe you can think about like a major and a minor. You've got your major, the thing that you're most naturally wired for, and then you've got the minor, the thing that you're also probably pretty good at. And usually those sit side by side next to each other or adjacent to each other on the wheel. The thing that I found most insightful and really most helpful is that most of the time, the opposite side of your strength, the opposite side of your major is your blind spot. It's the thing that you don't know you're not seeing. And so for me, I mentioned this in one of the previous episodes. I'm strong on vision. I'm probably vision results. I've learned how to do some of the journey stuff, but I naturally just skip over the culture side.
Yep.
And I'm having to learn how to force myself through that because I don't naturally think about the people and the feelings.
Yeah. Well, since this is for all those that are watching the video side of this
Sure.
will be easier to get than the people listening to the audio side. Think about if you take a circle and you put an X in the middle of the circle,
Right?
right? Those are your 4 quadrants.
Yep.
So then if you think about where you are psychologically, it's a bell curve. So you've got a curve that usually starts at, let's just call it, 0 degrees, which means your bell curve kind of starts over on one side of the X. It'll actually go through the crossing point of the middle of the X and then back up the other side. And so what happens is vision people, they do have, their bell curve does go down into culture.
Sure.
The problem is it barely goes into culture. And so they
Got it.
think they have a high level of culture. They recognize it. That's because they do have a little bit, but they don't have the full depth of culture. On the other side, they think people that are culture driven, they think that they are, culture people will have a little bit of vision.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they have no vision.
Right.
It means they still naturally they have a little bit of vision, but a vision person and a culture person together, since they're opposites, they will think each other understands the vision as much as they do. And I'm sure you've seen this in number.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had coaching calls and consulting gigs and whatnot where where you put the two opposites together and they think they're so much on the same page, and you look across and you're like, nope, you are not on the same page.
And then they
in the
walk out
slightest.
and do completely opposite things.
The
Yep.
vision guy does the vision thing, the culture does the culture thing. Then they come back together and they're like, well, I thought we were on the same page.
Right.
Because they were both talking to each other's blind spots.
Yep. Happens a lot. All right. So every person has this major, minor, and blind spot. But what we've also seen is that every organization has that major, minor, and blind spot.
Yes.
So how do you achieve balance, right? Because that was the word. I think I like that word the most, balance, right? We've all kind of find ourselves leaning towards one of these four, but we've said that the healthy and effective organizations are balanced. So how do you do that? Like, how do you balance when you've got a major, a minor, and a blind spot as an organization? How does an organization do that?
Well, not to complicate the simple here.
You've already been doing that, so keep going.
So you in every organization, you have a couple dimensions you have to look at.
Okay.
One is you've got, in some cases, it's called time span. In other cases, it's org chart, right? Your hierarchy.
Okay.
You've got your executive leaders.
Yep.
Then your next one is your middle managers.
Okay.
Then your next one is your, specialists / influencers.
Yep.
These are usually people that have some sort of influential power over a group of people.
Like a high-level individual contributor?
Yeah, high-level individual contributor.
Okay.
Usually they might be a specialist or a SME, and people they don't have people directly reporting to them, but they have people that they directly influence their work.
Yeah, they've got influence in the organization.
And then you have individual contributors.
Sure.
Just the people they don't have anybody reports to them. They have no influence. They just show up and do a job.
Yep.
And so you've got the 4 layers there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've also got your departments.
Sure.
And as you go across that way, so you think marketing's usually very touchy-feely, experience, unless it's a sales-led organization.
Right.
If it's sales-led, then your marketing is really results-driven.
Is results.
If it's a marketing-led organization, it's more journey-driven.
Yeah. That's where your journey people are probably going to go.
And you probably have a clash if you built your sales and marketing organization well. It looks majorly different than if you a lot of times if you're sales-led, your marketing is very sales-led, results-driven, and you've got a very results-driven marketing team, which means you probably don't really connect with your ideal customer profile on an empathetic level, and you're probably selling features and benefits.
Yeah.
It's like the 1980s car sales, right?
Right.
Versus the other side, if you don't have results, if you have touchy-feely and journey in the, not to say it's all touchy-feely, but
Sure.
if you have more journey in the sales process, then you typically don't have sales quotas and this, that, and the other, and salespeople get frustrated.
Yep.
So the way you build balance in an organization is, one, you have to look at it by those levels, and you have to look at it in the verticals, and you have to kind of overlay all this together, and you find the balance, you find the gaps. But if you can take every person in an organization and just, really, it's a series of questions. It's
Okay.
a set of control questions. You get these series of control questions. You ask everybody, you factor in where they land, you get a score. And once you understand where that is, then you can, it really is, right now, it's just this blurry vision for most companies. They're guessing.
Okay,
It's just
right.
blurry. Versus when you can definitively say, look, your leadership team is very result heavy. Your middle line managers are very culture heavy. And your frontline individuals are very journey heavy.
Okay. Is that how it's supposed to be, or just hypothetically?
That's just hypothetically. I mean,
Okay.
that's natural progression.
Okay.
A lot of good managers are culture focused because they're good people.
They're
People.
They're people managers.
They're people
Sure.
managers, right?
Yep.
Well, sometimes you get a lot of results people as people managers, and
Sometimes you
results. That's a different scenario. But a lot of your leadership team, because they're high capacity, result driven, make things happen. So a lot of your leadership is results. A lot of your midline managers are culture, and a lot of your frontline people are journey.
Yeah.
Culture of journey, because they're SOPs, and you've been
They're
in an
interacting
organization.
with the customers. They're having to,
SOP.
Right.
I want an SOP for that. I want to know how to do that
Right.
job. I want to do that. And so, they're more journey towards the culture piece, not journey up by vision.
right.
But what you'll see in the organization, and it's clear as day when you see this inside the software, and it's just like very obvious. It's like, okay, you're going backwards through the wheel here, because
okay.
you have your result people trying to push the culture to the journey, you're literally going backwards through the wheel, and you never achieve a vision. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll get results very painfully.
Yeah,
Work will suck.
It'll be at a very high cost.
I don't think I answered your question though.
Well, I think you kind of did. We got a little deep into it, but I think conceptually, what I hear you saying is that no matter which way you're oriented, no matter where your strength and blind spot is, the answer is balance. And so finding that balance, sure, you got to find it across the different layers of an organization, top to bottom, that you need balance across the departments as well. But this is a different way, at least in my experience, this is different from the way a lot of people have thought about the strengths and weaknesses of organizations, is thinking about how do we balance those pieces so that we can be more healthy and effective. Vision, journey, culture, and results. Which one do you find yourself gravitating towards? What's your major? What's your minor? And what's your blind spot? And what about the company that you work for? What's the company's major, the company's minor, and your company's blind spot?